Hello and welcome to Phoenix TV. It's so good to have you here. For so many of us, silence has been our survival tool. We've held back, swallowed our words, or convinced ourselves that our thoughts, our opinions, our truth didn't matter. But silence comes at a cost. It keeps us small, it keeps us unseen, and it keeps us from making the impact we were meant to create. Welcome back to Breaking the Ceiling in Hustle Culture. I'm your host, Corinne Brown, Leadership Results Coach. And in today's episode, we're exploring some of that power to change not only your life, but the lives of those around you. Finding your voice. Today, I want to unpack why we hold back, the fears, the mindsets that keep us stuck in silence, and most importantly, how we can break free, step into courage, and use our voices to change conversations, decisions, and even toxic culture. So why do we stay silent? Let's start with the truth. Silence doesn't happen by accident. It's learned. Many of us grow up being told to be nice, don't rock the boat, or stay in your lane. We internalize the idea that speaking up is risky, that being too visible makes us vulnerable. There are three big reasons why we stay silent. One is a fear of judgment. We worry what people think if we speak up. Will they see us as difficult, too ambitious, or not good enough? We fear rejection. We don't want to be shut down, ignored, or excluded, so we tell ourselves it's safer to stay quiet. And we fear failure. We convince ourselves that our voice doesn't matter, even if we spoke, nothing would change. These fears become chains that hold us captive, and over time, we stop questioning them. Silence becomes our default. But here's the truth. Every time we choose silence, we give our power away. We let others decide for us, and we allow toxic cultures to continue unchallenged. Here's the cost of silence. Because I remember sitting in a meeting years ago when an idea I had been working on for weeks was being discussed. My heart racing. I wanted to share, but fear held me back. Fear that my idea wasn't good enough, fear of being dismissed, and so I stayed quiet. Minutes later, someone else shared almost the exact same thought I'd been holding back. It was praised, celebrated, and taken forward. In that moment, my silence cost me more than just recognition. It cost me my confidence. I walked away questioning my value, when in reality the only thing standing in my way was my fear of speaking. That moment taught me that silence doesn't protect us, it only keeps us hidden. And there is a cost of silence, because silence isn't neutral. It has a cost. It costs us opportunities, promotions we don't apply for, ideas we never share, and relationships we never deepen. It costs us confidence. Every time we don't speak, we reinforce the belief that we can't. And it costs us impact, because when our voices are missing from the conversation, so are our solutions, our creativity, and our truth. And there's another layer too. When we stay silent, we unintentionally reinforce the very toxic culture we wish to change. Hustle culture thrives on compliance, on people being too afraid to challenge the status quo. But culture doesn't shift when everyone stays quiet. It changes when someone dares to speak. Here's how you can break free. These are the ways to break those chains. It starts with one simple but powerful decision, and that is to back yourself. Backing yourself means saying, my voice matters, my perspective has value. I am allowed to take up space. Here are some steps to get you started. Reframe the fear, because fear will always be there. But instead of seeing it as a stop sign, see it as a signal. Fear shows you that something important is at stake. Start small. Speaking up doesn't have to mean delivering a speech to 100 people. It could be voicing your idea in a meeting or setting a boundary in a conversation. Each time you do, you build muscle. Anchor in purpose, because when you speak up, not just for yourself, but for the people who need your voice, you find strength. You realize it's not only about you, it's about the doors your voice opens for others. And here's the truth I've learned. Once you experience the freedom of using your voice, you'll never go back to silence. So breaking free with my voice, this is what happened to me. There was a turning point for me when I finally chose to speak up. I was part of a team where decisions were being made that I didn't agree with. Normally, I would have stayed quiet, but something in me shifted. I reminded myself that my perspective mattered, and I found the courage to voice my concerns. At first, I was terrified, but the room went quiet and people started to listen. My words sparked a new conversation, and eventually the direction changed. In that moment, I realized the power of using my voice. Not only did it change the outcome of that discussion, it gave others permission to speak too. It was proof that when we back ourselves, we create ripples far beyond what we imagine. Here are some practical ways designed to help you move from fear to confidence in using your voice. Voice without fear. Acknowledge that fear, because fear is normal. It means you care. Instead of trying to erase it, recognize it as part of the process. Because confidence isn't the absence of fear, it's moving forward despite it. Identify your silent triggers. Notice the situations where you tend to hold back. For instance, in meetings or social settings, family conversations. Awareness is the first step to change. And reframe your beliefs. You might have an old belief like, if I speak up, I'll be judged. Change it to a new belief. For instance, if I speak up, I'll be authentic, and authenticity builds respect. Start small and build gradually, because confidence is like a muscle. Begin with low-risk situations. Share an opinion with a friend or ask a small question in a group. Each success builds courage for the next step. Anchor in your why. Ask yourself, why does my voice matter here? When your purpose is bigger than your fear, courage comes more easily. And prepare, don't overthink. If you know you'll need to speak, jot down your key points. Preparation gives your brain something to lean on, reducing those nerves. Don't aim for perfect, aim for clear. Practice self-compassion. Remind yourself you don't need to have the loudest or most polished voice. You only need to be real. Because progress is not perfection, it builds lasting confidence. And use the power of breath. Fear often shows up as shaky hands, racing heart, or tightness in the chest. Show intentional breathing signals safety to your body and steadies your voice. And celebrate every win, because each time you speak, even in small ways, acknowledge it, write it down, share it with a friend, or simply pause to say, I did that. Confidence grows when you reinforce progress. And lastly, shift that focus outward. When you use your voice, it's not just about you, it's about who you might inspire, protect, or open doors for. Speaking up becomes easier when you see it as a service, not a spotlight. Courage isn't about eliminating fear. It's about choosing your voice anyway. The more you practice, the more you'll trust yourself. And once you find confidence in your voice, you'll never return to silence. How do we change the culture? This isn't just personal, it's cultural. Toxic hustle culture tells us to work harder, to keep quiet, not to question the system. But when we use our voices, we disrupt that narrative. We show that there is another way, one built on authenticity, collaboration, and courage. Every time you speak up, you challenge the silence that keeps toxic systems alive. You model bravery for others, and you open the door for voices that haven't yet been heard. Changing your mindset about finding your voice, while silence can feel safe, it can feel like protection. But in reality, silence often costs us more than it saves. When we don't speak up, we lose opportunities, we strain our relationships, we sacrifice our peace of mind, and we deny ourselves the chance to ask for what we want and need. And finding your voice is not about being loud. It's about being clear, being authentic, and being courageous. Here's how you can shift your mindset and reclaim the power of your voice. Reframe that silence. You may have the old belief that if I stay quiet, I won't get hurt. The truth is, silence doesn't protect you, it diminishes you. Every time you hold back your truth, you give away your power. Silence may avoid temporary conflict, but it creates long-term damage to confidence, trust, and self-worth. Recognize the cost of silence. Silence isn't neutral, it's destructive. It can cost you. It can cost you your professional growth, missing promotions, recognition, or chances to lead, missing your personal relationships. Unspoken needs build resentment and distance. And it can cost you your peace of mind. Suppressed thoughts lead to stress, anxiety, and self-doubt. And self-advocacy, without asking, you don't get what you truly want or need. Anchor into why your voice matters. Because your voice is not just for you. It's for connection. Sharing your truth deepens trust and authenticity in others. It's for change because your voice can challenge toxic norms and spark cultural shifts. And it's for empowerment. When you speak, you give others permission to do the same. How to shift that fear of mindset? Well, instead of seeing fear as a warning, see it as a signal, because fear means this matters. Fear means there's growth on the other side, and fear means your voice has the power to create change. Reframe fear as fuel, not a stop sign. Build voice muscles step by step. Start small and speak up in low-risk settings. Share an idea in a meeting. Express a preference in a conversation. And celebrate those wins, because every time you use your voice, acknowledge the courage it took. Grow gradually. The more you practice, the stronger and more natural it feels. Replace silence with self-trust. Ask yourself, what's the cost if I don't speak up? But what's the possibility if I do? Each choice to use your voice reinforces self-trust. You begin to see yourself as capable, worthy, and powerful. Adopt the mantra, my voice creates change. Whenever you feel the pull towards silence, remind yourself, my voice matters. My voice shapes conversations. My voice opens doors for me and for others. Silence may feel safe, but it keeps you captive. Your voice is your freedom, your influence, and your pathway to authentic connection. When you shift your mindset from silence as safety to a voice as power, you unlock opportunities, strengthen relationships, protect your peace of mind, and learn to ask for and receive what you truly need. Because once you find your voice, you'll never go back to silence. So if you've been holding back, if you've been silenced, overlooked, or afraid, I want you to hear this. Your voice matters. It's not just about being heard. It's about shaping conversations, influencing decisions, and opening doors. The world doesn't change by staying silent. It changes when people like you and me decide to speak up again and again until the culture shifts. Remember this, once you find your voice, you'll never go back to silence. Thank you for joining me today on Breaking the Ceiling in Hustle Culture. In our next episode, we'll dive into how to turn your voice into bold action, the kind that not only transforms your life, but inspires a ripple effect of change in others. Until then, keep speaking, keep showing up, and keep breaking ceilings. It's been a pleasure having you here with me. I'm Corinne Brown. Catch you on the flip side.